What's going on, everybody? This is Frito here for your Overwatch, this time talking about a community issue that I have found and have named the gold medal fallacy. Now, this mostly applies to the ranked side of the game, the competitive matchmaking, because obviously in quick play, I honestly don't mind what you want to do. Have fun. If you want to pick 3 Meis and 3 Hanzos just for a goof, whatever. You're like, that's what quick play can be for. Just do whatever you like, enjoy. In ranked and competitive, it goes without saying that the teams are trying to play Overwatch at the highest level that they can. And with that goes with a team building component. A huge section of Overwatch is picking a composition that works well together and also counters the other team when needed. I go into this assuming that's what everyone wants to do, but oftentimes that never seems to be the case, especially at the lower rankings of the game. In this game in particular, we have a D.Va player who's typing in the chat, "Focus him! Focus the Genji! I'm top as damage and kills as D.Va!" Which, if you look at my stats, it makes it kind of hard to believe that he has gold damage unless he is equaling all the damage I'm doing as Widowmaker, which seems to be unlikely. But regardless, instead of playing D.Va, and mind you, this gameplay came before D.Va got buffed, so she was really a bad pick, I suggest to him maybe pick a Roadhog instead that can hook the Genji when he tries to dive our back line, or pick Winston who can dive him as he dives me to help enforce our back line. I like to call Winston like an enforcer character that can dive the divers, so to speak. And notice they respond as, "I'm D.Va and I'm getting gold damage, so clearly I'm not doing anything wrong." Well, first, besides the point that it seems to be patently false that she was getting gold damage unless she somehow was keeping up with my 7,000 damage on one side, I don't think that's the case. But even if she was equaling me, it doesn't matter what your gold medals are, okay? It never matters, because let's say you are the best player on the team. If that's the case, you need to be playing the character that's countering the problem, right? So even me as Widowmaker, I didn't change off Widowmaker, but maybe a better decision would have been to change to Roadhog myself, because then I wouldn't die to the Genji. Now that might bring up other problems elsewhere where I'm not getting any ranged kills now, and I definitely was getting a lot of range. That entire time that we were losing that payload, watch it back if you want, I was getting picks left and right. Every single time I shot, it seemed like something was dying, but we were still losing. So I don't necessarily know that me picking Roadhog was the right decision, but it's something that I definitely should consider. I shouldn't just look at my gold damage and say like, well, definitely I'm doing everything correct here, because especially if you're playing a tank or another supportive type role and you're getting gold medals and you think that means you shouldn't have to change, you have to realize that your decision to pick a certain character might mess up the rest of your team's composition to the point that they can't function. Now, obviously, everyone should work together, so maybe they need to build around you better, or maybe you need to build around them better. But if you're playing D.Va and you're not supporting the back line, and you do have gold damage, realize that you're not supposed to have gold damage. So maybe you need to play a more boring character or somebody you don't like Reinhardt, or like I said, Winston, who can dive the Genji and basically straight up counter him in order to help your team. I like to use this analogy, right? Football, or soccer as we call it in America, there's a goalie whose his entire role is to not let the other team score. If your goalie is scoring and he's the only guy who he throws the ball down the pitch and other team doesn't react whatsoever, they're not paying attention, they think it's on a timeout or something, and the ball rolls in and he gets a score, right? He shouldn't be like, well, I'm the best player here, obviously, I have gold goals. That's not the way it works, right? You have to actually structure the team properly so that the correct roles are getting the value out of them that they're supposed to. I see this a lot in King of the Hill as well. People oftentimes pick Junkrat because he's an easy character to play, kind of spam in the other direction. But if you pick a Junkrat on King of the Hill, unless you're playing the pit section of Ilios, it's really hard to get big money grenades, actually, because the team fight is often more circular rather than horizontal. It's not like you have your side on payload and they're coming from the other side and you're defending. You can just spam down an alleyway. Oftentimes there's this big chaotic mosh pit. And I try to say to the Junkrat, like, You know, we need something that can actually eliminate the other team rather than just spam in their general direction. And they oftentimes say like, but I have gold damage. But I think to myself, of course you have gold damage as Junkrat. He just lobs damage randomly, but that's not necessarily what we need right now. We need something that will take out their team. Reaper's better on King of the Hill, for instance, because he can just get on the enemy team and eliminate them rather than just tickle them from afar. And just because you're doing the best ranged tickling doesn't mean that you're helping your team win. It makes it incredibly frustrating to make any calls or suggestions when people just assume that when you ask them to change something that they think it's an attack on their skill or they have to defend themselves. That's never what I mean. Even if you're having a bad game, I just want the best out of you. Oftentimes I let these guys pick a different DPS character. That's fine. If you want to be the damage dealer, whatever. I'm trying to be cooperative, but we need a composition that works. And I hope as Overwatch ages a little bit and the community gets used to how the game is played, that people learn that changing heroes should be a conversation. There should be a team building aspect to it. That's why you have so much time before the game starts. You're supposed to be discussing with your team how you're going to adjust your composition. You shouldn't just insta-lock your character and just assume everyone else is going to adjust to you. It should be a cooperative exercise. And that's a lot of the fun in Overwatch for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, hit the like button. We upload each and every day to your Overwatch. So you're going to want to hit subscribe so you can catch our video feed. Please share the channel with your friends. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.